Hey traders, hello and welcome to another edition of the Crypto Lab with Alex, featured by Trading Analysis. As usual, we are going to go and look a little bit over macro scene, what's going on US 10-year yields, Germany 10-year bonds. We're going to go and look a little bit of gold, US dollar and silver. And then we will look at the crypto space, including some of the outlooks on the overall crypto market cap, DeFi market cap, some of the charts from Bitcoin and Ether. And also we will do some couple of altcoins as well. As usual, please post your comments and we will go over them when we finish the presentation, and then we might look some of the cryptos maybe that you find interesting for your own portfolio, and we can do the wave counts and see how possible outcomes can be on them. Welcome one more. I will just have one announcement to make. So we have a nice webinar held by a team which are covering the stock service, trading analysis. So if you like to see what do we see on the markets in regards of where the major indices are going, so you can join up. You can find that on my Twitter feed, which is here, and you can actually just sign up. It is free. It's going to be one and a half hour of the charts with Bennett, who is an excellent electrician, with Terry Long as well, so you can see what is our outlook on the stock markets. Let's dive in and let's start to look what is going on the US 10-year yields. As you know, the macro situation is not so favorable for the risk-on environment. We are seeing rates moving higher, and this starts to look more and more impulsively. We also had the problems in the last couple of weeks of the Evergrande in China. And also we have a debt ceiling. Usually with the debt ceiling, everything is resolved in the last days. At least that was a practice in the last couple of years. So I'm not so afraid regarding the debt ceiling in the United States. It's going to be moved. Usually it is some negotiations between Democrats and Republicans, and nobody wants to put United States to default on its debt. Every now and then we have a little bit of scare in that regard. I think that the problems in China are much more serious in that respect. And that can also kind of affect, and it's affecting stock market for the last couple of weeks, as well as this movement up in the US 10-year yields, because Fed in the last meeting was a little bit more hawkish in regards of tapering, and also in regards of moving rates on the up a little bit quicker, maybe end of 2022 or 2023. We are going to see the last jobs report soon. That will definitely be tracked by Fed, because they said they are data dependent in the respect of jobs report. We are still seeing a little bit of pressure in energy prices, which means the overall CPI is going up. I don't know about the core CPI. We have to look that number. So in general, we are in some still some type of bottleneck inflation pressures, and definitely they might stay for a year or year and a half until economy actually balance itself, and the higher inflation or deflationary forces, starts to kick in, which are of course technology and demographics. So I still observe this move on the upside in inflation as the cyclical phenomena, not the secular phenomena. Secular means that overall trend on the larger time frames is still down in all of these measures and metrics, and the cyclical appearance of inflation you will see usually after a couple of years of deflationary environment. You have some cyclical inflation picking up and staying for a year and a half, but later on the higher forces will be actually stronger and overtake and continue the secular trend of the inflation on the downside. So we will see. This left to be still open, but the secular trend is still very, very much on. And I think this is just a cyclical phenomenon. So let's go and review this pattern here. As we were looking, this is a support which we were looking in a couple of crypto labs in the last few months, and this support held well. And from there, we are seeing now development on the upside, which starts to look pretty impulsive, I must say. Let me just glare this for you so that you can see the bigger picture. If this starts to push and challenge this 1.54, I think this will start to develop in a more impulsive manner, and then this resistance, I think around 2% will be next, and we might be seeing this developing in a 5-wave sequence, finishing around 2.9, where some correction might come, but then this major resistance levels will act as a support. And then this correction might just stay within these two lines and then even further continue on the upside. So what I would like to see here is first that we challenge this 1.7 and then we cross it on the upside and then retest like here, or a test, because this was a event before this move down in a COVID appearance, and then actually start to trade some around 2%. So what is interesting thing here is that if you put Bitcoin and overlay it with this chart, you will see some similarities from the lows in 2020, where we count the Bitcoin as a wave 2. So as you can see, there is a pretty nice correlation between this movement up in the Bitcoin and rates. As you can see now, Bitcoin is leading a little bit on the upside, and the rates might follow. But I find this fascinating that they are correlated from this point pretty nicely. As you can see, there is you need to a little bit kind of match these two when you do comparison chart. But as you can see, there is not much of a decoupling here. Some spikes, yes, but in general, the prices fits nicely, especially on this pullback, and move on the upside, and then a further move. And I find this pretty much interesting, that we might see Bitcoin also follow this path. So we will see, but kind of a similar correlation between the price from this COVID crisis in 2020 start on the upside. So in general, let's look what's going on in Europe. So as I said a couple of times, I'm tracking this for already a couple of years, relatively successfully, because the wave count on this price chart, so this is the price inverse of yields, but when you see the price moving down, yields are moving up because they are connected. I'm just using the price chart because the wave count is clearer, and this is the price on the 10-year Bund, so it's a government paper. And as you can see, pretty relatively easy recognizable development in this 5-wave move on the upside. Wave 1, some type of a flat in wave 2, and then very clear 5 waves up in a lesser degree, wave 1, 2, nice 5 waves up in a wave 3, consolidation in wave 4, and a completion in wave 5. So now we are trading here pretty correctively. So this is a corrective structure, either in a triangle or in some more complex WXY, which might take a little bit more time to unfold. So this might take us through all 2022, even half of 2023. I don't know that in this moment, but it is enough for me to see this development, which is not actually rolling out as a clearly impulsive trend reversal signature. It is pretty sideways price action with the possibility of a triangle or a complex correction, but as long as this support zone holds, I think that this will be a transitory, as I said, cyclical inflation phenomena, and then after we might see a couple of more years due to some event or something else for the move higher in this fifth wave on the upside in the general more world deflationary environment. So I will still consider this to be some type of a wave 4 unfolding with the comparison of this wave 2 here. So that same can happen also in some other government papers that you see in the world, but the US 10-year yields and German 10-year bond are the most relevant for the European and the US markets to track this. Let's move to the dollar index, which is following our path nicely. We have broken this very important 93.43 levels, which was pretty nice resistance. So we treat this move on the downside from the COVID crisis beginnings as a five-wave move down in dollar. And also then we treat this as a small truncation, and from there we have a 5 waves up, pullback in a B wave, and now we are moving pretty nice impulsively on the upside, maybe in the wave 1 of the subsequent C wave on the upside. So there is still room on the upside to move in the US dollar until the end of the year. I think maybe end of November, December, we might actually achieve some of the targets that we look for this ABC pullback on the upside. So from the dollar index, let's move and see what is going on metals. So we are going to look a gold chart as we do every time. So not much of a developments here in gold. We are still observing a possibility, and as I said, I have a triangle here just because we have held nicely this support level twice, and actually we have some type of a 5 waves up. If you do a little bit more close up on this picture, you will easily be able to actually count 5 waves, which I will do now. So this was a very sharp reversal on that Sunday couple of weeks drop. We held this level. We have clearly a nice 5 wave pattern developing here, and this looks like a complex pullback which might be done, and maybe gold has already from here 5 waves up. This is just a small correction, and we can go higher to meet this possible D wave, and then a correction in E wave, and then we are ready most likely to go and continue this gold run, which will be most likely because of englared inflationary pressures. Usually gold goes well in deflationary and also goes well in inflationary thing, but when the rates goes above 2.5, 3 or 3.5% as an inflation hedge, it also might happen that we see something happening in the stock markets, and traditionally gold was some type of a safe haven and has some safe haven feature, which might make gold surging higher some around maybe December or close to beginning of 2022, and then we can go above this 2000 and reach some of the levels. We look for this further expansion outside of this consolidation. In the case we penetrate this 1670 or 76, which is a key level where we hold this, it might that we have something more complex corrective pullback. It can be anything really in the Elliott wave world. Fourth waves can morph into a couple of patterns. So the point is that you stay outside of the market while this correction is actually unfolding until you recognize what is going on. So this can be some type of a complex W, some type of an X, either triangle or here. We go a little bit more downside, and then we're gonna have a little bit lower levels breaking this key support, and then from there we can go on the upside. So I'm not gonna exercise this wave count until I see clearly this strong level around 1670 broken, which we don't see for now. It held pretty nicely, as I said. So pattern as itself, it's very corrective. As soon as you ask any kind of experienced electrician, he will recognize immediately there is nothing impulsive so far on the downside on the gold chart, and that most likely after this consolidation is over, we're going to continue higher. So same situation with the silver. So silver actually reached one of our targets for the longer term wave count. I still think maybe we have a little bit of movement up and down in silver. We reached this key level for around 21, which was our support level if you track Crypto Lab for a long time. So what I think from the Elliott wave perspective is going on here is potentially some type of a three-wave move down, three-wave move up in B, and then this is a five-wave move down in a diagonal contracting manner. So this will be a type of a flat which is pretty rare to see. Usually you are going to see an expanding flats, and here you might see a regular flat which actually has an equality ratio, as you can see here from all of these waves measurements. Okay, so we had here, we overshoot it a little bit, but that's really so small to take it to change this pattern in a different one. It was just a spike. If you put it on a closing basis, I don't see this is, yeah, it's not even there. So this will be some type of a regular flat pattern. We will go up in a B wave while gold actually goes in this D wave. We go down and see as gold post E wave, and then off we go most likely from these levels. What we need to see on silver is some type of five waves move on the upside. So what I'm telling you all of this because I can see on the FX and on other assets classes a potential reversal in dollar. So as you can see, some of the charts that we looked on euro dollar and Aussie dollar are actually implying that we are in some type of a corrective pullback, and that we are going to reach these levels around 112, 113, and then from there we can see one more push on the upside in the euro dollar, which will actually match euro dollar and gold are relatively through the time, I will say over a big span, has some good correlations, and that usually going to work together on the upside, while the dollar makes another C wave down as we looked, because we observed this only as a correction, and we are already trading at 115.51, and this is not so far from 112, 113, so a couple of weeks more of a downside, this B wave can find support, and we might see something more of an impulsive feature and a break of this key level of the B wave at 119, a small pullback, and then a continuation on the upside. We also see the same picture on the Aussie dollar, which is pretty much risk on currency. So if I look a larger time frame, we see I don't think this will be the good wave count. I will go a little bit more complex here for this type of a B wave. So this will be some type of a ABC, some type of an X and an ABC down. But from lows, we have a five-wave move on the upside from very long impulsive or corrective trend in Aussie dollar. That's really not important because we're going to track first the C wave on the upside, which also tells you or foretells you after these five waves and some type of a three-wave correction down, that we are going to see also Aussie moving on the upside, which is a kind of a correlation with copper, gold, and some other assets classes, which actually foretells US dollar moving lower with at least one leg more. So that's how we construct some of these kind of a macro themes, which are more, some of them cyclical, some of them secular, but actually we try to capture this large trending moves because Elliott wave is most of the other features. It has a trending principle where you want to stay with the current trend by looking these corrections and try to pinpoint where is the potential risk that you can be exposed in some assets classes. Okay, so let's go and jump to cryptos and let's see what is going on there. So I'm going to start a crypto section with BTC dominance chart. So as you know, we were looking this BTC dominance chart. We have seen a nice push up in the Bitcoin, which is changing my perspective, and I will tell you in why. And we are tracking this for so long time, and it has been working successfully so far. So as I said last time, we had this nice break of this channel, and I would like to see for this Bitcoin dominance chart potentially that we are still not done in this fifth wave, because usually when you have the ends of some trends, these pullbacks in a wave 4 can be a little bit extended on the upside, which is a kind of a normal thing when you have and when you see something falling for so much time, then some of the reactionary forces from markets might push this wave 4, and until I see a cross of these levels around 45, 46, I will still not put a kind of a impulsive trend or a change of a trend in Bitcoin dominance. We have seen some reaction lower. I want this to extend a little bit more to have a firm conclusions. We have one more move to the downside in this Bitcoin dominance chart, from where I think that this dominant chart will start to trade sideways, switching between alts and the Bitcoin on this possible next couple of months bull run in crypto. So I don't expect anything reactionary so much on the upside. I think we will fall in some type of a long sideways price action here. And when I see it, I will put it in a context of the Elliott wave methodology, which we mostly use with some other things in trading analysis. So on dominance chart, I'm still going to stay bearish, because on the downside in Bitcoin, RSI is pretty working nicely here. As you can see, we had these highs here. We had now another one. So it will be kind of a handy to observe this move to the downside in these 5 waves. So from the Bitcoin dominance chart, we're going to look. One of the charts we didn't look so far, and this is a crypto total decentralized finance market cap. You all know what is decentralized finance, and we are observing some type of a nice evolving bullish pattern here, which is still stays bullish. In a market cap, we have jumped from almost 1.5 to relatively nice numbers in the DeFi exposure, and I think this is a lesser degree, or as we call it, intermediary degree wave 3 still in development, which might reach 376 or even 1.2 trillion in the next move on the upside. There is 2 targets, and we can count here 1, 2 up in 3 and a consolidation in a wave 4, and maybe we are still seeing now the beginning of the little bit more of advance on the upside. So also on a total market cap, we have a chart which starts from here. So I will just deal with this 5-wave sequence, and this 5-wave sequence also, as you can see, we have a golden cross as well here. We have a 200 moving average holding nicely from the rest of the technical analysis we might use as a help. And the wave count points out potentially we might continue to move higher, closer to this market cap in cryptos, with the first target around 3.54 trillion, or a little bit more upside between 5 and 6. So we will see where the money will come from. It can be from the number of sides. It can be some of the institutional guys actually have some more exposure. We can also see that during the latest move down in the stock markets, Bitcoin was moving up and crypto markets held pretty nicely. In the last China news regarding cryptos, last time we fell almost 25-30%. Now we fell only 5%. So the crypto markets are starting to kind of show a bit of a weight, which means that some of the news which was affecting crypto space are not working to that extent as the time goes by. So the China thing was pretty disastrous in the last couple of years, and now that proved only to unfold a 5% correction, which is not something significant on cryptos. And also, we have seen crypto markets moving up when the stock markets was moving down, which was a pretty not very often seen picture in the last couple of years. Usually this margin overspill and the VAR, which affecting the funds having stocks exposure and the cryptos in a small increment, and usually they will, to keep their positions in stocks, they will usually cut their exposure on the crypto. Maybe now we are seeing some of the appetite for the cryptos to, or from the funds and companies to increase their holdings in crypto in this unsure environment, a little bit as a safe haven hand. So that is just hypothesis, but we can kind of construct this type of things because we have seen the behavior. Okay, so when you look the behavior before on some news and now what is going on, and you can conclude that actually maybe the crypto markets is on a firmer foot nowadays than a couple of months in past or never year or two. Okay, so let's show and switch. We have looked DeFi, CoinDesk news. There are still inquiries into these stable coins. They are complying as I was focused of tracking this. They're complying with the regulator, so everybody has an interest for this market to be more stable and regulated, and thus the more funds from the institutional investors will come in. So for now that is going good. There was also the notion that Brazil might consider introducing Bitcoin as a viable means of payment. We have also seen a very vocal Jerome Powell and Security Commission chairman that they don't plan to ban Bitcoin or cryptos. So that was also a kind of a good news for the cryptos. And I think that's all of a small components that we are seeing now, which are kind of a building with all of these technicals that we look. So I would like you to pay a special attention on my outlook on the Bitcoin chart. As you know, I have been pretty much neutral with some of the more bearish, less bearish, and potentially bullish outcomes. I was more biased as we were testing this 40K to observe. And this switching of biases in the looking at the internal measures of markets, I think it's really good to keep you positioned neutral and don't fall under the different market or the media influences. And as you can see on this chart, I have said that there is a point where we have to become and lift this wave 3, which we had here for the higher next Fibonacci ratio. And I think I'm pretty much prepared to do that now. So I have to seeing all of this, and especially this 200 moving average, golden cross, which is not some of the things because it doesn't work so well when you compare it in the time. It should be more kind of a secondary things that you look. I don't like to focus on these crosses because they are proven to be unreliable, but it's a one additional thing that we might observe as a constructing this puzzle, what is going on. So the latest price action will put me on the bullish side. So let me be clear. As I said last time, there is two key levels during this correction, which was very visible for everybody. This one is 30K, which held pretty nicely. And more important for me, at least, was these 40K levels, because as you can see, this 40K was pretty nicely in every instances of a test holding, and now the last hold and moving above this 200 moving average kind of proves me we might be in some type either of a 1-2 already starting third wave, but my preferred wave count will be that we are still in a wave 1, small pullback back testing again around 45k, 50k, and then we start to move firmly on the upside in a Bitcoin price reaching this 100k or above. So I have a couple of bullish measurements. One is a less I will say less kind of a media popular one, which will be 110k, which this targets actually depicts a little bit overshoot of the 80k, and then we roll over in this fourth wave now, which we moved. If we start surpassing these levels, some of the higher targets and Fib ratios correlation that we get from the lower and higher degrees of a trend actually suggests the Bitcoin might go up to even 150, 180k. So I don't want to sound like I'm kind of portraying something so unrealistic. So that will be a significant inflow in the Bitcoin market cap of more than 1.5 trillion. Which is, honestly to say, I don't see now in this instance, but we have to see and track these beginnings of signs that something in the close future, some of these things can happen. Okay, so this is a very nice bullish follow-up from this 40k, and I have to switch my bias on time. As I see also many altcoins are very nicely tracking our charts that we had a couple of even weeks ago, that altcoins are pretty much bullish. So let me go a little bit more in depth in some of the targets that you see. I have published on my Twitter feed one of the most bullish wave counts and targets which I have on a Bitcoin, which you can see here. And then I will treat especially this areas I hold around 50% and turn on the upside can produce some of the staggering move. But I would like to track this step by step. I don't want to be so I will say extensively bullish until I see clear how the wave 3 on the upside might develop and to which magnitude. But we have to consider some of these also extreme options, which there usually happens on cryptos. Okay, so these targets and some of the Fib ratios, when you do a couple of measurements from the different lesser and upper degree that we usually use, comes around from 150 to 180k for the next Bitcoin price. More moderate one will be that we go some around these levels which I have mentioned earlier. So that will be a more moderate price expansion, which might actually test these previous highs and develop a little bit more, so close to 90, 100k around these levels with a slight overshoot on the upside, because market is sized for a move to a 100k move, and then we might see this a sizable correction unfolding again in the larger degree wave 4. So the takeaway from this is that I'm going to try in both of these options on any corrections. I would say in this most bullish case from the 57 to 60k back to 45, I will definitely try to buy this pullback, put my stops below 40k, which is a kind of a reasonable risk reward for this potential third wave on the upside. Don't forget, these third waves on the upside, if this is the case here, can be pretty brutal in the verticality of the move and the strength of this move. So this move can be actually finished in a blink of an eye. In this lesser degree wave 3, and then a pullback in a wave 4, a little bit of a rest before we challenge some of these higher targets in this kind of a more bullish scenario on the Bitcoin. So I hope this is clear. So let me go and revisit some of the cryptos additionally that we usually look. So the next one will be Ether, and for Ether I have the same outlook. So there is a couple of key things that I was looking in Ether, and these things actually held pretty nicely. So in that respect, I will have to switch. Sorry, I will have to switch for this lesser degree levels regarding the Ether chart, and I will show you that in a smaller time frame. Maybe it's going to be a more clearer for you to track this. So Ether also staged out a kind of a nice but a less reversal on the upside. That's why I think some of the altcoins will start to move more steadily, maybe in the next couple of days on the upside, kind of a catch up the Bitcoin price. So the bullish outlook will be something like this. That we are tracing out a first 5 waves from these lows. We will treat this as an ABC, and now we have to reach some of the targets close to 4,500, 400 before a pullback, which will be compared with the Bitcoin retracing some of the portion of this first development on the upside, and then we will see an acceleration in the Ether chart towards 7 to 10K, even higher. So I don't want to speculate now with targets. I don't, and I'm not in favor of a sensational announcements or things like that. I'm really not into that. As you can see through my analysis, I'm pretty much cautious of watching my steps, what I'm saying, and what I'm portraying. So I will also stay in the same on the same line with this. I just see a very potentially small risk if we see a 5-wave development here and a small pullback, but just bear in mind that these pullbacks in a wave 2 are very short of a nature if we are going to see the wave 3 on the upside. So for me, either in a Bitcoin or in Ether, it is pretty much when I have all of these informations to accept the risk of a small stop loss that I'm going to actually exercise if I see these nice pullbacks for a potential of gaining pretty much next upside that might be occur. So in trading analysis, we use Elliott wave not much of as a forecasting tool, which many people misinterpret. They think we have some crystal ball and that we use this kind of a charts to operate of predicting price action. There is something or a small part into it because we follow the patterns, but most of all it is a risk tool, because as you can see on this feature I can measure my risk pretty nicely in a potential following the trend further on the upside. So that's the main point, I think, and a main feature why we use this methodology. And as you can see, if this unfolds here in nice 5 waves, it will be a very small risk margin for me to get involved and actually track this potential further development. If I'm stopped out, that's fine. I have done my work, and if I'm wrong, I'm willing to accept this small risk for a potential gain on the upside. And I think that have a reasonable thinking when you think through it. Okay, guys, so let me see your comments. If anything is not clear regarding Bitcoin chart and the Ethereum chart, please put it. I will just show you some of the things that I see on the our favorite charts regarding the some of the altcoins. And I hate the word altcoins, but I still have to use it, as I hate the word cryptocurrencies, because they are not. They're more like stocks or assets, except once they are portrayed to be a currency like Bitcoin and some others. So we have been observing for a long time this Matic chart, which has been working nicely. So we are still in a larger trend that we track in this lesser degree wave 5 development of the primary degree. So we think we have a little bit more of developments here. So on a smaller time frame, what we have seen from the lows are clearly a 5-wave up and a 3-wave pullback, which we tracked pretty nicely. But the follow-up was not so impulsive, and that is something which keeps me kind of awake at night, not much, but a little bit. I want to see clearly a 5-wave development here in Matic, and then the same thing for me, which we will be apparent. I will be willing to take the risk on this small second wave pullback in a potential outlook for this move on the upside. And what I seek is these small risk potential positions where my stops will be very small in regards of potential gains. But for that to be on my playbook, I still need to see a matic, and I hope it's gonna continue following this potential first wave of the wave 3 on the upside, and then I'm gonna wait for a small pullback and look to be in some point on it. There is also a couple of more charts. If you look the chart of 1 inch, it's actually performed a very kind of a classic corrective move, which is pretty nicely. As you can see on this chart, we have a 5 waves up, clearly a 3 waves pullback, and then from there, this support held very nicely, 5 waves up and exactly a 3 wave pullback, kind of a repetition in a smaller instances of this big fractal. And if you go on a smaller time frame, you will already see from these equality measures, almost exact of these 2 measured moves or 1 measured move, we are seeing a potential in an impulsive move on the upside, wave 1, 2, up in 3, 4, and 5. So if this starts to test this upper bound and continue on the upside, I will be pretty much also looking for a small wave 1 correction in this overall developing wave structure, and then a pullback, which might be in this resistance area and the continuation on the upside. So I'm still waiting on these alts, but some of them are really performing something which you will call a very bullish outlook. And that is, from my point of view, very visible here on these charts. Also, I would like to point out that Binance Coin also did something similar, but in more fashion on the upside. What you see on Binance Coin that we usually look is even more aggressive 5 wave development from these lows. We have been very vocal on these charts with the members. And as you can see here, this post-triangle thrust has a 5 waves up, 3 waves pullback, and from there, if you go on a smaller time frame, you will see clearly, and this is so clear, I mean, a 5 wave move on the upside, pretty impulsive reaction from this equality measured move, and some of these Fib ratio clusters that we have. So there is clearly a 5 wave development here and a pullback. It's going to be most likely a second wave of the third wave advance in this overall higher degree levels that we track for some targets around 1,200 and even some of the higher targets on the upside that we have. So pretty nice developments for now. We have to be realistic and take into account what's going on. And the science points out that we have to switch our bias from neutral to more bullish bias, and I think we are doing that most likely in the right time as we track this consolidation from May. Pretty much kind of, I will not say successful, but kind of reserved and contained without any fear of missing out, or without any panic, or without any sensational wave counts, which proved to be a kind of a good stance. But now we have to switch more on a bullish side. So let me see your comments. Hello, Francisco. Felix, Doge not participating. Yeah, I think Dogecoin is in some type of a potential triangulation. I still have this wave count, and it's also pretty nice in the Elliott wave kind of definition. This is not the whole sequence because we miss the bigger chart, but let's focus on what is going on next. Let's not go too much into the future. So there is from these lows a wave 1, clearly 5 waves up, pullback in a wave 2, very sharp development in the wave 3 on Dogecoin, almost vertical one, and now we are seeing more of a sideways consolidation, as you can see here. So I definitely want to see to prove this something more impulsive, which we don't still see on Dogecoin. So there is every reason for me to think that this is just some type of a triangle, but a break of these resistance levels on the upside, as soon as I see something more impulsively in 5 waves, that will makes me on a pullback to be more bullish towards higher level on the Dogecoin. So it still looks fine, although it didn't track the rest of the market, especially Bitcoin, as the other altcoins was not in this instance, but maybe this will change in the next couple of days. Moe says, I'm 100% in cash, any advice? Well, I really don't like to take an advisory role. I don't like to influence anybody what they're going to do with their own money. I think you can derive a lot of my outlook and my bias through this presentation, so you have to decide that for yourself. I'm still not authorized, or I don't have a certain a proof or certification to be any of an advisory in this respect. So I will not, of course, tell you publicly, but I mean, in my expose, you can see where I think the cryptos will go, and can derive some conclusion for yourself. Hi, Aiden. I'm fine in general, all good. We are still in a COVID crisis here in Serbia, but the autumn is pretty sunny, which I like very much. For me, the autumn, which is a kind of a mild, sunny 20 degrees, is the best of all seasons, and I like to enjoy it. So I'm fine, healthy. That's what is most important. And wave counts are behaving good for now. So all in all, I'm fine. Thank you on the question. Dogen likes please only crypto. We cannot do that, Dogen. We have many requests from people all around the world to stay with the macro outlook. They derive some valuable information for that. So we will keep macro and cryptos together. Can help you with that. Can you make the window larger? I cannot make the window larger than this. I hope this is fine. For me, it's impossible to do it more larger than this one. You mentioned how Serum will go. Yeah, I like the Serum. We might go through this chart. VeChain is looking good. Ethereum, Bitcoin has a little bit of a pullback, but still holding nice levels here. So let me just find my Bitcoin Ether chart. Let me go and see, because I have a couple of feeds that I'm using. For this one, I'm using Crypto Compare because of the data I have for a longer time. Ethereum, Bitcoin still holds some of these levels, which I'm be looking. This can be just a leading diagonal and a pullback in a wave 2. This base channel might hold it if we see Ethereum starts to move up. So I'm still going to stay mildly bullish on this, looking this as a consolidation. As you can see from the lows, we have seen a 1-2, a nice expansion without the wave count invalidation here in the wave 3, which is still ongoing on the upside. So I'm still going to stay. The RSI pretty moves close to 30, which might indicate reversal. This 200 moving average, as you can see, containing pretty much nicely, and they're going to meet very soon. So this can just be a pullback touching this base channel, and off we go on the upside. So I'm still good with this chart. Anton Matic, I already did Matic, Anton. And hi Alex, any thoughts about eComi? To tell you honestly, I don't know what it is. eComi, let me see, what is eComi? Is it a crypto, or I track so many cryptos, guys. I really don't. I really lose track because there's so many of it, and people ask for all sorts of charts, so I don't even bother to remember. Obviously, I didn't look that one, so let's see. I don't know why it doesn't shows up. Come on, eComi. Nope. Okay. Obviously, we looked at in a 5-wave sequence some type of a pullback. So now it's developing on the upside. We have most likely tracked this before in one of the crypto labs, but I don't remember it. So it was very far away, or maybe it was the last time. I really don't remember. So for now, this is still kind of in a mild neutral stage. We can count some kind of a suspicion five-way move with some type of a truncation, a very sharp, potentially flat here, or an ABC, X ABC. And from there, we see a five waves up with a three waves pullback and a nice impulsive development. So what I would like to see here, that we go actually above some of these zones, which might pose a threat. First of the resistance levels are around 0.014, and I would like this to develop a little bit more impulsively in this third wave on the upside. But it kind of looks nice because after this five waves up and a correction, you see a 1, 2, some type of a wave 3, 4, and 5. So we might be in some type of a nice potential breakout on the upside, but I will seek an additional confirmations, because I don't like these charts when you don't see clearly what is going on. First, I don't have a clear five-wave pattern here. This is still has to be classified, or it can be classified as a three-wave pullback. I'm not a low or a high picker, guys, so I try to follow the rules and be contained and normal. I don't like picking lows and highs, so I like to do it by the book. And we are still here in a potential consolidation channel. So when I see this kind of a beginning of the charts, I don't want to sound spectacular and say, yeah, this will go up to the moon. I don't know. I mean, I need to see some signs, and I want to see definitely some of the levels which are crossed for equality here, which will give me more substance to work with this chart. Up to now, I can still maybe say that we will come to this equality or a measured move of 0.0111, and then I will go from there. Yeah, 1 inch looks cool. Claudio Heros. Hi, Alex. Thanks for your updates. Nothing, man. That's our job. What chart is that? I don't know. Luxy Parks. What are you thinking? Thanks for the BNB review. Okay, that looks pretty nice. 201 early. Say hello, Alex. I've been reading GAN and the. Yeah, GAN is an interesting subject on the astrological part. It can be actually worked pretty nice with Elliott, but I didn't study so much GAN. I have the ground base in astrological findings, but I'm not using that because I'm not on a higher level with this. I know what is going on there and what are the aspects of planets and all of that stuff, but I'm not using it simply because the Elliott wave tool is pretty enough for me after the 10 plus 12, 13 years of practice, mistakes, and all of I've been through with these tools to become a little bit more proficient in it. So I'm acquainted with the GAN's work, but I'm not on the level to talk or talk you through this subject in combination. Gian was very known about his uses of angles and astrological charts or a kind of angles that he used in his predictions. It worked for him. Does it work for other people? I don't know. So I don't have any experience, close experience with GAN or somebody that are using GAN successfully. Anna, Alex, if you were 100% in cash, what would you do if it was you? Well, if I'm 100% in cash, usually I like to trade on a higher time frame, so I want to follow the spirit of the Elliott wave and be a trending in the market. So for me, the trend is still up. I don't see any signs. So if I'm going to do some higher term tradings for me, but usually I'm starting to, of course, measure my risk. Risk is my base priority always, because markets will go up and down. If you miss one move, there's going to be another. So don't worry about that. People are worrying, oh, I missed the move. The markets are not going anywhere. Only you can be gone from the markets with a zero account. So that's the only fact. Market will not go anywhere. So keep your money safe, okay? So that's is always the message when I try to push through. And in that respect, if I will make some positions or try to be involved, I will definitely seek for a beginning of some smaller exposure. And as I see this develops uptrends, which I'm look from some different perspective continues, I will increase my exposure definitely as these charts develop on the upside. It has to be a step-by-step process. I'm never all in or all out. I'm always doing the things gradually, trying to respect the major risk parameters, and that is the lesson I learned from many failures. I have burned in the beginning, I don't know how many accounts, guys. I mean, I was reckless, over trading, doing all sorts of mistakes, just name it. I've been gone through all of that in my trading career. And then after I did manage to learn some of the things that you should not done, because in trading, it's more about things you should not do than you are doing. So after I refrained my psychology and started to learn what is going on, I also started to trade for a bank, and that was more successful and step-by-step learning. But I've been, just name the mistake, I've been there many times. So I know how this goes. And that's why risk is my main priority. So let me see. Shiba, yeah, Shiba went crazy. I don't know what's going on with Shiba. What is the deal with Shiba? Shiba is just kind of a strangely. I was having some type of a 5-wave small thing on this one, but I mean it surpassed that by a margin. And I mean, the only thing I can do here is just laughing and watch it. Usually what I do is I put this parallel channel, and some of these charts can just be an ABC, so be aware of that, if you look this type of an expansion, you can also experience this, and then again a rollover. I'm just a warning sign. If this starts to surpass these equality levels, then we can discuss potentially that Shiba might has some appetite to go even further. Okay, we already passed 786 for us. That is one of the evidences this might continue higher. Okay, so usually we look this 786 here of the retracement levels, and we already surpassed that by relatively nice margin. So I guess Shiba, after maybe a small pullback, might actually aim for a little bit more upside. And from the beginning here, we might even put some Elliott wave structure, which will be something like 1, 2, and this is kind of enormous wave 3, 4, and smaller wave 5 up to this level. So be careful if you are had the luck to be on this Shiba move on the upside. I don't participate in these things, guys. I know many people are looking for the really quick get rich things. I try to be more methodical and kind of lasting in markets than a one-time shot. So that will be my view on Shiba, if you can take something from it. Anyhow, if we start to expand above this channel, and then I will look for some more targets on Shiba, and that will be the main sign we are in some type of a bullish trend, and then we will have to see where this wave 3, 4, and 5 can go. But until there, I will stay modest in the price prediction of a kind of a potential move to this measured move or equal thing on Shiba. Michael Orha, hi Alex, there are rumors that Shiba Inu will get to 0.01. It has a big upside move this week. You see my view, so this is my view. 0.01, it's where? 0.01, we have to go on a weekly chart, I think. That's pretty much higher on the upside. I don't know if we're gonna see this type of move now. This is something around, I think, these levels. So it has to do something like this I really don't know. I mean, I want to see this, as I said, I want to see this surpassed first to look for a more bullish outlook. So for me, these levels are going to be pretty respectable ones. Once if I see a rollover and go back, then the Shiba will be just pump and dump scheme. If I see this cross and more impulsive on the upside, then we can deal with it in a more serious manner. Crow, yeah, let's look Crow. I didn't look Crow for a long time. Oh, we are already 1 hour, so let's try to bring this finished. Yeah, actually, I was looking Crow for a pullback in this ABC. I was looking for a leading diagonal. I will have to change this outlook. We had already most likely pullback finished, but for that to erase completely and start to count this as some type of a corrective feature, usually when you have a leading diagonals, the rule is you go and test the previous wave 4. For the further continuation on the upside, I want to see clearly this develops in 5 waves, which I think it is on the road to, okay? So if you look a smaller wave count here on this one, this looks impulsively in a 1, 2, up in 3, 4, and 5, so a little bit more upside pullback, and I will observe and expect a nice reaction from some of these levels on a pullback, and then that might produce another extension or expanding of this fractal on the upside. So it looks good. It looks nice for now, developing kind of a nice impulsive post-low moves on the upside. So what is the good price to buy it? I really don't know. I mean, look the next crypto lab or become our member. In this moment, I don't know. I explained pretty much nicely which will be my zone of interest when I see what I see. Okay, I'm not involved in the market if the market does something I don't recognize. Okay, I don't care even if it goes 10 times on the upside. I didn't have a outlook. I didn't have a recognition, which is my base points. So I'm not involved in this type of stuff. So if I don't recognize it, I don't touch it. Carmen, yeah, anybody needs help with GAN, check, okay. About Shiba, rumors, well, okay. Thank you guys. We have been going a little bit more. Visit Trading Analysis for any crypto, or I already showed you. You can visit my Twitter page and join Bennett and the team for the outlook on stocks. If you're interested in cryptos, you can go to our main page, and we have lots of nice features for the crypto members. We're going to continue to update you on these developments on the crypto space, and stay well, stay healthy, and give us a like button. I think we deserve it. So give us a little bit of a support for these public crypto labs, so we can continue doing them, kind of increasing our modest and kind of a risk cautious approach to markets. So see you next time, guys. Hit the like button for us, and see you next Thursday. Bye bye.